Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the June 27th, 2023 Indian Hill Board of Education meeting. I will now call the meeting to order. Mr. Davis, if we give a roll call.
Mrs. Eichholz?
Here.
Mr. Marks? Mrs. Singh?
Here.
Mr. Summerall?
Here.
Mr. Tullis?
Here.
Okay, we need to adopt our agenda. May I get a first?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, we're going to do the Pledge of Allegiance.
Could we have our student guests lead us in the pledge tonight? Would you guys help us out? All right. You can start whenever you're ready. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Okay, public commentary. Mr. Davis, do we have any public commentary this evening?
There is none this evening.
Okay, thank you. Okay, we're going to move on to Mr. Konecki for correspondence, recognition, and announcements.
Good evening, everyone. A couple of celebrations this evening we'd like to share. First off, our Indian Hill School District wants to congratulate our academic team from the high school. They placed in the top 20 for the second year in a row recently in their small school national championship tournament held in Chicago in May. This is an academic decathlon, kind of a quiz style team, and they have always done really, really well in the small school national category the last few years. So congratulations to all of those team members. They did a great job in May. Also, want to celebrate our IHTN television network staff and students and some of our own district staff, including Heather Higdon. They just earned a record 15 Blue Chip Awards during the annual ceremony held in May in Cincinnati. This was the largest number of finalists in the program's history, spanning 26 years now. And Indian Hill had 37 different programs nominated, 22 programs that made it to the finals, and 15 finalists earning awards. Winning producers included the following students: Gino Cardosi, Daniel Chen, Nick Guinan, Wyatt Higgins, Chloe Hutton, Brian Jia, Henry Conan, Dylan Minoka, Zachary Rosenbaum, Alex Rozakis, and Reese Tuttle. In addition to the student-earned awards, our Blue Chip Award winners also included Indian Hill teachers Ricardo Hill, Tom Millard, and Susan Savage, our Indian Hill athletic coordinator Julius King, athletic trainer Terry Conti, and our CCO Heather Higdon. So congratulations to all of the Blue Chip Award winners for this year. We mentioned this at our May meeting, but I also want to take a moment again to congratulate our teacher at the primary school, Jennifer Tice, who's one of our teacher leaders in the district. She recently received the George B. Chapman Award for Excellence in Mathematics Education in association with the Martha Holden Jennings Foundation. She was selected by a committee of fellow educators to be the winner of this award this year, and she'll be recognized at an annual conference this July. So again, congratulations to Jennifer Tice. This is a really prestigious award for teachers in the state of Ohio. Next, we'd like to introduce and celebrate some of our students who were selected for the People's Choice Award during the annual Design Lab exhibit. The student designers and architects included Jasmine Arrell, Grace Cooperrider, Frankie Hall, Ava Jha, and Nicholas Miller. Design Lab pairs local professionals with educators to guide students through a real-world theme design problem, emphasizing the development of research, critical thinking, financial literacy, problem solving, verbal and visual communication, creative expression, collaborative team building, STEM and presentation skills. That's a mouthful. Our students are going to explain this much better than I can this evening, and we have their leader and teacher here, Monica Dawkins, and we have some of our student leaders here. If you would all come up at this time, we would love to hear more about your project.
So, our theme for this architectural project was an amusement park. We made a double-decker amusement park. We only have the top layer here.
tell them what was the theme? Like, what did you have to build?
We had to build a gathering space.
A gathering space. Any space that people or animals could gather.
So, biggest gathering, like the most gatherings are
What else you building underneath this?
So we built a Ferris wheel in the back. We also have a couple of restaurants around it. Up here we have a Skyline, we have a Chipotle, and then we have some frozen yogurt and a sugar candy store.
How did you guys decide on the amusement park?
We all agreed that that was a pretty good gathering space.
What did you guys use to build it?
Recyclable materials. Most of these
Where was the hypothetical location for your gathering space?
that's in Florida.
And what was
There's 3 others.
So that's what they're talking about. Those were their elements of green design.
And the
that they
Carney Tent
incorporated.
has a green roof.
Yeah. We think that the award they won is really special because there are over 2,000 kids in the city that participate in this. But they are separated by grade bands. So we were in the 3 to 5 grade band. And within each grade band, they do award specific like theme awards. So while we did not earn one of those particular awards, what they did earn is called the People's Choice. And so these were on display at Newport on the Levee for an entire week. And so total community members could just come and view these. And they only give out one People's Choice Award. So if you were a passerby, near the exit, there's like a voting box that you could say, you know, we really loved Wonder World. And so we just think that it is an extra special award because unlike the other awards that are given out sort of in multiples over the grade bands, there is in fact only the one and only People's Choice, and that's what they earned.
Excellent job, and we have some certificates here for you too, and we appreciate you coming. Grace, Nicholas, thank you so much for presenting tonight. Anything else you want to tell the crowd about your project? We'll get a picture and make sure that we share this with the world, if that's okay with you two? Okay.
I've got one more question before we're done. One question and a comment. My question is, do your parents now have to take you to Kings Island or another amusement park to compare your final result versus the real thing? But also a thank you to Monica, your team. You know, we've talked about it a lot, the investment that the school makes in our STEM program, starting at the primary school level. These things don't happen in a vacuum, and starting that early and having it prevalent in every class continues to be great, and it's really fun to get to celebrate these. So congratulations.
Great job tonight. Thank you.
Just to follow up, Mr. Tullis, to your comment also, Monica is one of the teacher leaders who has been talking to our team about problem-based learning and STEM education for years. I can remember one of the first conversations I had in this district 5 years ago was with Monica talking about how this was the way of the future and we needed to make sure we were doing this K through 12. So thank you, Monica, for all your work in the STEM world. You're one of the STEM stars here. Awesome. So I wish our next, congratulations. I wish our next presentation was going to be as exciting, and it's going to be a hard act to follow, but we have our partners here from Aramark tonight, and they're going to come up and share some information with us. Good luck.
No pressure.
No pressure.
No, thank you very much for having us here tonight for us to, kind of share what's happened over the past school year, also give you a preview for next school year. I am Justin Cruz. I am the Vice President of Operations for Aramark. With me tonight, we have Frank Korvitich, who's the General Manager that supports on the ground each week. And then we have Peter Wen, who is the new Food Service Director that is on site every day supporting our students and supporting our meal program. So what we prepared for you tonight is a little introduction of Peter to you, a glimpse into what happened last year and then what to be excited about for next school year. So I'm going to turn it over to Peter.
Thank you, Justin. It's like following the Beatles. Nobody's paying attention, which is good. So my name is Peter Wen. I've been in Cincinnati for about 30 years. Married a West Side girl, so this is they're going to bury me. I got a day pass across 71, but come sundown, I got to get out. 35 plus years in every aspect of food service, higher education, healthcare, senior living, restaurants, business and industry. But this is my first foray into K-12. Very excited about it because it's kind of the last area, but also I was very active in my son's elementary, middle, and high school. My wife works in Butler County Schools, and so it's something I've always been involved in. And growing up the son of a college professor, education has been at the forefront of my entire life. As you can see, I've continued my education after got my undergraduate degree, and learning for the sake of learning is something I enjoy. And I really look forward to getting involved in each one of the buildings and working with the teachers and educating our students on nutrition and healthy eating and just being around the young people. It's just the 6 weeks I've been here. I was previously in senior living, so it's a little bit of a change for me. So I appreciate your time. Thank you.
Frank?
Good evening, everyone. Again, my name is Frank Forwardich. I'm the general manager for Aramark for the state of Ohio. I travel down here and support Peter about once a week. I just wanted to touch base on a few of our initiatives for the last school year. Going hand in hand with STEM, I mean, one of the biggest projects was a 4th grade project that we did with Mrs. Cannon's class, where our former food service director met with the students. They had a project where they had to develop a menu. They had to cost it out. It had to meet the nutritional guidelines for the USDA. It had to be reviewed. They had to meet with the director and ask questions to make sure everything was in line. And then we then prepared the food and served it to the school. The students chose a salmon dish, which, again, it's not something typical that we serve in K-12, but we served salmon to all the students at the school. And to our surprise, it was a huge hit that we practically sold out, had to go back and cook more and just keep it coming out. So it was awesome to see the excitement and to see how math and education and food service like came together, and then the students were able to see the product served and eaten. So Aramark has an ACE program that deals with K through 5 education, with nutrition, what to eat, what not to eat, proper, to get your rest, activity, all those kind of things like that. Part of the USDA regulations that we need to present to the board and supply documentation that all of our menus at the USDA program at the primary and the elementary meets the USDA guidelines. So all of our meals must have 5 components: a fruit, a vegetable, a grain, a protein, and a milk. The students must take 3 of those. One of those must be a fruit or a vegetable in order to qualify for a lunch. All of our menus are run through a computerized program through Aramark to meet the second half of the guidelines for calories, sodium, different things like that the state gives us. So, and again, all of those meet, and I think they're on the next slide. Yep, so that's the bottom part there is the nutritional analysis for a week, and we do that for our 5-week cycle menu. Primary school, we serve 25,328 meals. Elementary, 27,972 meals. Again, those are the guidelines. The bottom link there is a program I'd just like to bring to everyone's attention is NutriSlice. It is an app that anyone could have on their phone that links directly to our menus, which gives parents, students, all the nutritional on all of our products. So if you click on a chicken tender, it will show you what that's made out of, all the ingredients in it. Parents are able to put any allergens that their student may have, and it will cross off every one of the items on our menu that has those allergy type items, such as egg or whatever it may be.
A question. So is that an app that parents can
Yes.
have these things?
Mhm.
And then it is in their records so that you can see where they are? Like what allergies they have? Is that what it is?
Yes, so the parent would click on, like if they had a fish allergy, they would click on the fish icon, and then it would cross anything off that had shellfish or fish on our menu. So the parent would know that they should not eat that. And that's out there now. It's Nutrislice.com. If you could just,
You can reach it through our website and our app also.
or through Apple or whoever. Just you can put Nutrislice and then look for Indian Hill School District. At the high school, middle school, which is not on the USDA program, our revenue, we did about $360,000. We are very excited about the new serving line that we have implemented in the high school cafeteria. One of the highlights of the year was Black History Month, where we featured a recipe from 13 Aramark Black chefs across the country for the week of February. You can see that bottom left-hand picture are all of their pictures and resumes, and it was over the entryway to the cafeteria. So students, as they waited in line, could read about the chefs and the recipes and things like that we were serving that week.
Kirk, or Nick or Jim, I've asked this question before, and I just don't remember the answer. Why is it we shift the middle school and the high school to the non-USDA program? I know there was a reason for it. I recall being a good reason. I just can't remember.
So the main reason is while we're always looking for nutrition and making sure we're serving quality lunches, when we're not on the USDA program, it allows us to serve other items that doesn't necessarily qualify as a meal under the USDA guidelines. For example, that line that they're talking about, the new serving line, that may or may not be something we would be able to do if we were still under the USDA.
More flexibility off more.
Absolutely. Yep.
And there's like larger portions, such as at the elementary schools, they have to have a half a cup of fruit, a half a cup of vegetable, 2.5 ounces of protein, those kind of things like that. When you're off the program, you can serve bigger portions and things like that as well. Next, I just wanted to bring to the attention of My School Bucks, the link where parents and students could put money on their account. Again, parents have control of this from home. Parents could also at any time reach out to Peter and put any limitations they want on their student's account. And we're able to go in from behind the scenes and say, if I only want my child to spend $5 a day, we're able to do that behind the scenes. If the parent doesn't want their child to have cookie or something like that, we're able to put a note. So when the child puts in their number, it pops up on the screen, and the cashier sees no cookie for Johnny. Sorry, Johnny, no cookie today. And we're super excited about the new middle school and the new serving line and new cafeteria, and excited to get in there and feature some of our great recipes and menus. I will now turn it back over to Mr. Peter.
Thank you. And I'm not going to read this. You can read all the things that are going on, but the new middle school building, that new serving line in the high school, I want to kind of treat that as a chef's table, maybe a weekly or a daily special, and pull from our staff and let them do their menus to just kind of wow the students. And I'm going to focus on being visible to students and staff and parents. I've got great ideas, but talking to the students are going to give us the best ideas. They're going to let us know what they want to eat, especially in the primary and elementary schools. I'm going to be very visible. I'm not a desk jockey. I like being around young people, and I want to get their ideas, implemented. And we're also working on centralizing ordering and delivery to schools, so that we can maximize our buying power by buying in bulk, but also keeping as little on the shelves as necessary to cut down on inventory on the satellite buildings. And then working with schools on educating and demonstrating cooking skills to students. You can never be too young to learn. I learned the hard way. My wife never learned, so I'm solo in the kitchen. But I learned from both my parents as a young age, and that's what I started as a chef. And I think the younger we educate them about healthy food, healthy cooking techniques. A lot of young people. I've got 2 college students. They just don't know how to cook. And that's something we need to get in front of them. And I really look forward to it, and I thank you for the opportunity. Any questions?
I'd just like to make a comment. Board members, when we think back to the feedback round we went through, and we gathered a lot of input and feedback in 2019 and 2020, and then, of course, we all had a global pandemic to deal with. One of the things that happened during the summer of 2020 is Aramark changed their leadership, and they leaned into all of the feedback and the input, and they helped our school community get through the pandemic, and they have ramped up their education efforts with children in the buildings. They've ramped up the demonstrations. They've ramped up relevant menus and work. We have seen a large change in the amount of staff members who are serviced by Aramark throughout the week, as well as students. And I just want to thank the team while they're here for the hard work that they've put into trying to cater to Indian Hill specifically and our culture here. We do appreciate that you listen to the feedback and take all that input, and I think we've seen lots of evidence of it that you shared tonight, so thank you.
Yeah, no, I did want to close by just saying, thank you to you, Kirk, and to Jim and to Mick for their partnership, and the board specifically for their partnership. It has been a collaboration of working together and figuring out what works and what doesn't work. And that, at least on the Aramark side, is the best kind of partnership, because we are here to serve students. You heard Peter say, we want to find out what students like to eat and where they like to eat it, and then, generate those, and I take those ideas and generate menus that they want to see. So that is what we work on, because for us, it all starts with our students going to eat this, and then figuring out if they're at the younger level, how we make it compliant to the USDA, and when we're talking about the middle school and high school, how we get it to taste as good as it can be, to where they're always participating with us. But that doesn't happen without their collaboration, so I want to say thank you to you as well.
Yeah, we appreciate all that you guys do, and appreciate the collaboration. I would continue to challenge you to be innovative going forward. We like to set ourselves apart from a lot of the other schools and be front and center for good reasons, and trying to be healthy and trying to continue to try new things, I think, is imperative for all the schools in the district. So kind of a takeaway assignment, but thank you for what you have done in the past, and appreciate it.
Thank you. Next up, board members, we're going to have a short strategic plan update with Dr. Stewart. Mr. Samini, can you show that screen again for me, please, just for a moment?
This will just be a glance, and then you can turn away from it. Thanks for giving me just a few minutes to talk about the strategic plan. As a reminder, we actually started the strategic plan process in August of 2021 and took 6 months to engage with a variety of community members, of parents and alumni, all of the employees that we had, and it took us 6 months to design this strategic plan. And it's been a really fabulous year of work. As a reminder, there's 3 phases of the strategic plan. Research, which doesn't mean implementation at all. It just means like we're trying some things out. The next one is discovery, where we actually have plans to test some of our hypotheses within the classroom. And lastly, the last one is moving towards full implementation. So in the research stage, I want to make sure that I spend enough energy complimenting our staff members. When we think about what school has been like, we lived through a pandemic, arrived back to that, and then at Indian Hill, schools were disrupted by this like really wonderful transformation of facilities where students are in new and unusual spaces. And in the midst of all of that, we have a strategic plan where teachers have really welcomed the opportunity to be active members of that planning process. We had over 80 teachers volunteer their time to be part of the initiative team members, where they really were the key members of the team to do the research. Research included talking to other school districts across the entire country that have expertise in particular areas, talking to universities about the next stage for students, as well as looking at peer-reviewed articles. I would just like to say, Mrs. Pfeiffer, for you listening back there, there are very few school districts that you would have such dedicated and hungry teachers who would say, I want to make school even better than it already is for our Indian Hill students and to be engaged at this type of level. And so, Julie, I just want to say for the record how impressive it is to have been working with the teachers through all this time. So thank you for your leadership too. I appreciate it. So then looking at it, we've received some really great feedback through the research project. And one of the things that we discovered is some of the language that we used was a little bit difficult. And we heard from both community members as well as our teachers that it would be if there would be any way for us to look at simplifying the language. So as you saw in the graphic, starting next year, instead of thinking about that in the term of 10 different initiatives, we're going to be able to collapse those and look at it in the terms of 5 different initiatives, which is going to be a lot easier for everybody to be able to think about what that means for classroom practice as well.
Can I just clarify?
Yes.
Yeah, and when we talk about going from 10 to 5, we're not really collapsing from 10 to 5, but we've also checked a couple of initiatives off the list, including streamlined communications and, of course, creating new spaces, which Dr. Stewart referenced. There was a lot of work and a lot of employees who went into giving input into creating new spaces, as we're seeing happen in front of us. All of that time and energy, administrators, teachers, classified staff members, as well as community members, and the input we received on communications and how to target our strategic communications plan really helped us move forward last year. So those are things we'll continue to work on improving at all times, but really we feel like we've taken care of some of those initiatives.
So when we look at what's going to happen, there's 2 things that are happening simultaneously at this very moment. The first one is we are still in the midst of collecting data about what has happened in the last year. So just as like a little bit of a preview, one of the initiatives that we've been talking about is student agency. And during that time, we've been able to really craft a strong definition of what student agency is. We're able to describe what it is and what it isn't in practical terms, as well as look at all the different ways that in the classroom we're trying some new things. So as an example, we had 3,786 instances of trying new ways to incorporate student agency within the classroom just this year, just during the stage of research. So we're collecting all of that information right now in a summary, and at the same time we're collecting that information, we were thinking about how to create that information in a way that we can make sure that every single resident within Indian Hill Schools is receiving information on our progress. So with the help of our fantastic Chief Communication Officer, Heather Higdon, we're creating a graphic that we will be able to deliver to every single resident in August that gives a summary of what's happened during the school year and what people can expect in the future. That includes some great examples of how we're already shifting some of our practices now, as well as what you can expect in the future.
One other comment I'd just like to make, I think board members, you're well aware of this, but I want to thank Mrs. Eichholz, Mrs. Singh. They were a part of the steering committee. They also came to the listening session we had with the community members in early February. We're going to continue that feedback cycle annually, where we're going to give people from the community a chance to weigh in. We're going to continue to lean into input from our faculty and staff as we move forward. And I think the evidence that we saw this year with the STEM designations is just 2 amazing examples where an entire building culture and all of the staff and students in the building, as well as their parents, can celebrate an achievement that has come out of years that led to the strategic plan and practices that were already in place in the district that we're now refining and making better through research and discovery and implementation. And that is something that everybody in the school community should be proud of. And I think we've had some great examples so far, and we'll look forward to some more in the future.
I just have a clarification question, and I've been pretty close to this. But so ongoing, a lot of strategic plans are 5 years, whatever. Do we really have a plan for it to be like a rolling, ongoing, or will you just start again in 5 years?
Well, go ahead, but you were going to say something, Dr. Stewart. I'll say something after you.
We've tried to be very organic through the process and to make sure that we're really thinking about who we're designing this for and that their voices are part of it. So we've been really flexible, and we have said all along though it's a 5-year plan, we might determine through this that there are some initiatives that we need more than 5 years worth of time to truly get towards implementation. Or there might be new information we gain during year 4 or year 5 that makes us stop and rethink it and edit that process. So in that way, we want to give ourselves the flexibility of really being good listeners and getting the feedback from our community, from our teachers, from our students, so that we can make the changes that we need to make based on that feedback.
Yeah, I think that's a great way to say it. It's a journey, and I think the expectation from the board at the beginning was that we were going to be responsive. And so, you know, we don't want anybody to get ahead of their skis, and we don't want our staff to feel like that happens, and we also don't want to be reactive. So, you know, the day that we can't be proactive, I'm sure we'll work on a new plan. Until then, we have plenty of initiatives to research, and our teachers are doing a fabulous job. I just would point out one other piece of data that Melissa shared. 80 faculty members involved in teams throughout the year. In most districts this size or larger, to get a group of 25 to 30 teachers to spend a year on an initiative would be amazing. We had almost 3 times that if you count the administrators also that were involved throughout the year. It's just absolutely phenomenal. We're so proud of all that work. A lot of hours went into the work this year.
Lastly, I just would like to also publicly give credit to Dr. Kim Given. She's the coordinator of the strategic plan, and if it wasn't for Kim and all of the work that she puts in the organizations of those meetings, I truly believe we would not be where we are now. So thank you to Kim.
Melissa, thank you for your guidance and stewardship through this program. It's very evident that we're on the right path, and it's largely due to you leading the team through that. So I just want to thank you for your energy and enthusiasm.
I second that.
Moving on to the superintendent's.
Kirk, if I could just, real quick, I know it's not a celebration, but I just wanted to make a comment, I guess, or express a note of thanks. The reaction that I saw the school and everybody come together after Mr. Clark's passing the past month was nothing short of remarkable. Eric in the back, all the work he did on the memorial service we did, that was as neat of an event, that's not the right word probably, but as well done of an event that I've seen come together, and you could really feel the pride the school had and the community and the culture the school had. And that doesn't come from nowhere. That comes from things like the strategic plan, the culture of the school. And just wanted to express my gratitude for everything you guys did, everybody here in the room did, to support Jeff's family. Amy Clark's not here, but certainly a note of thanks for her for everything she did, and just how impactful and special I thought that moment was. So, thank you.
Thank you, Bear. And I think that everybody understands that we're all still grieving and going through a period of mourning with what we've dealt with, and the team has done an absolutely phenomenal job, as you said, and we were going to address this later, but we'll continue to think about Jeff and his family, and we'll continue to honor him moving forward, and appreciate everybody who was involved in the last few weeks. Okay. Moving on then to the superintendent's report. There are some personnel issues here, but starting with 7A, we have a resolution, as we do at times, declaring impracticability of transportation, offering payment to parents in lieu of transportation. We have the approval of our updated handbooks for the 23-24 school year, also including a non-teaching staff handbook. We have under letter D, a new bus monitor pay rate that we would like approved. And then under letter E, 1 through XX, we have several supplemental contracts and approvals this evening. Number 8 is some tuition reimbursements, and then number 9, we have some retirements and resignations this school year. So, board members, if you don't have any questions or review, I would ask that you would entertain 7A through E9C. May I have a motion to accept the superintendent's report?
I will make a motion to accept the report and pass item 7A through E, try to remember it, 9C.
Second.
Mr. Tullis?
Yes.
Mrs. Singh?
Yes.
Mrs. Eichholz?
Aye.
Mr. Summerall?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll move to the treasurer's report.
For the treasurer's report this evening, I have the approval of minutes from the May 23rd regular meeting and the June 14th special meeting. I have the monthly financial reports for the month ending May 31, 2023. We have 4 contracts for construction under item C. The first 3 are items that are for school graphics and signage. These are direct contracts that we had budgeted in the program, so these are just simply us executing those contracts. The 4th item is to extend our builder's risk insurance. That was going to expire here at the end of June, so we need to move that forward. As we get programs that move off of the builder's risk and onto our regular insurance, we will receive credits for that. So when the elementary, primary, high school, transportation, and any other building that we're working on at the moment finishes, we will then get credits for that, for those completions. Under item D, we have some regular contracts that fall under, we have some student education, items 1, 2, 3, and 5. Item 4 is the annual renewal with Aramark that we have to complete once a year. The contract is a 5-year contract, but there is a stipulation that we renew once every year. Item E is to accept the proposal for our commercial casualty and cybersecurity insurance renewal from Ohio School Plan. A little bit of good news here. Even though we're in a world where insurance rates are rising about 5 to 10% over last year, our cybersecurity, we got a wonderful break with that, and we're actually paying less for the combined 2 insurances than we did last year. So that is a favorable situation for those. Item F is to authorize the treasurer to supplement appropriations as needed and to make necessary appropriation budget modifications, including any advances and transfers to close the financial books for fiscal year 2023, and then to return any advances after July 1. A listing of those items will be provided in the minutes of this meeting. Item G is to approve the FY 2024 temporary appropriations resolution. This will allow us to pay the bills in July. Item H is the second part of what Mr. Konecki proposed in his presentation. We will actually be paying the folks that we've done throughout the year who have asked to get this program, and we will be paying them in June for fiscal year 23. Item I is to approve the establishment of 2 student activity accounts, speed and agility, and a softball camp. And finally, item J is to accept a donation from the IH Foundation to the high school for big pitch expenses. It's always with the partnerships of our other groups and our people in the public that allow us to do all the special things that we do here, and we always appreciate those gifts.
Okay, thank you, Mick. May I have a motion to accept the treasurer's report?
I will gladly make a motion and note there's no change orders on tonight's treasurer's report, so yeah.
No, there's not.
I'll make a motion to approve the treasurer's report, item 8A through J.
May we have a second?
Second.
Okay.
Mr. Tullis?
Yes.
Mrs. Eicholtz?
Aye.
Mrs. Singh?
Yes.
Mr. Summerall?
Yes.
Thank you.
Just a quick comment before we move on. We hired a new strength and conditioning coach, as some of you know, Mr. Logan Neff, and he has been all over the place during the last month. So when I saw those student activity accounts, I was just thinking about that. And if you haven't met Mr. Neff, he'll be around all summer. There have been camps going on. The teams are finishing up some of their summer workouts. He's been working with middle school students, youth students, high school students, and it's just great to have Logan join the staff. He's all on social media as well, and he provides individual and group advice. And when we talk about health and wellness, we're really happy to have him. So glad that Logan is here and on the team.
Thank you. Item 9, other business.
Members, we just need a resolution to change the August board meeting date from the 8th to the 10th. And we need to approve that, please.
Okay, may I have a motion?
So moved.
May we have a
Second.
Okay.
Mrs. Eicholtz?
Aye.
Mrs. Singh?
Yes.
Mr. Tullis?
Yes.
Mr. Summerall?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, do we have any other business this evening?
Just want to thank all of our guests for being here again tonight. I know it's summer vacation time, and so we really appreciate that you came and presented, and thank you to our staff and all the parents that were here to help support tonight. Appreciate it. Thank you to our Airmark partners.
Thank you, everyone. Okay, at this time, I would like to make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.